the CCMA. I'm sure most South Africans have heard about the CCMA, but what kind of cases do they actually hear? How do you open a case at the CCMA? What are the time periods and what can you get out from the CCMA? Hi, my name is Aslam Mullah and I am a registered attorney, and that's what we're going to be covering in today's video. The CCMA is an independent body that is not actually for employers or for employees. That is a common misconception. Now, the CCMA usually hears cases related to unfair dismissals, unfair labor practices, and unfair discrimination. It's important to know that there are certain time limits as well. What time limits, you may ask? 30 days for an unfair dismissal, 90 days for an unfair labor practice, and 6 months for discrimination. Please take note that these days include public holidays and weekends. Now, what happens if you miss the deadline? Let's say you filed and you want to put a case in 40 days instead of 30 days. How do you handle that process? If you are late and you miss the deadline, then you apply for something called a condonation, which is just a fancy word which means that you are explaining to the CCMA why you are late in referring your case to the CCMA. For more information on condonation, please take a look at our YouTube channel where we go into that in much more detail. Now, to open a case at the CCMA, you need to fill in a document called a Form 7.11. This document can be accessed online from the official CCMA website. Please ensure that this document is served and filed on the employer. Now, how do proceedings actually work at the CCMA? The proceedings are divided into two stages: conciliation and arbitration. Conciliation is an informal process to see if your case can be settled. There's no evidence that's led, and the process is generally quite quick. Arbitration, on the other hand, is a much more formal process, and that means the leading of evidence, witnesses, documents, etc. You need to be prepared for arbitration. How do you know what your matter is allocated for? You will get a notification from the CCMA. Sometimes you might get a notification, con arb. What does that mean? It means conciliation will take place first and arbitration thereafter. After your arbitration, you will get a ruling from the CCMA within 14 days, which means that you will be informed whether you either won or lost the case within a 14-day period. As part of your ruling, there's 4 things you can get at the CCMA. Reinstatement, which means you get your job back. Reemployment, which means that you go back to the employer but probably in a different department. Compensation, which means that you get money paid out to you at the CCMA. And the 4th option is you get nothing. So you need to be prepared. The commissioner at the CCMA is not going to side with you because you're a nice person. You need to know your case inside and out. In summary, the CCMA process is not for employers or for employees. It is meant to be an independent body to resolve labor law disputes. There are different timelines for different kinds of matters. It's very important to know these timelines and be ready for your matter when it's heard. If you need help in your situation, whether that's filling in the CCMA form, preparing for conciliation or arbitration, you're welcome to click on the link below and book an appointment with our office. I wish you all the best, and I'll speak to you soon.